on the other side, the north side of the Golden Gate Bridge. Just crossed it. There's Alcatraz out there. Right there. Bay Bridge. And the city by the sea, San Francisco. This is where I'm going to stay tonight. This is the Rogue River. I'm going to do some fishing, fly fishing here the next couple of days. It's just beautiful here. So now I'm hungry for my second. Of course it's catch and release, so I bring back, he's fine. Mount St. Helens. That's the mountain right there. Seattle Harbor. Some excitement at the border. As I was crossing from US into Canada, I stopped on the US side of the border and filmed. 3 guards rushed me and told me I couldn't film and I had to erase it. So I did. And now I'm entering Canada. This is the Canadian border, re-entering.
Okay, well I don't care what you film.
I don't know how to erase it, to be honest with you. All I can do is film over it.
Okay.
I'll film right over it.
You live in California?
Yeah, I do.
Year round?
Yeah. So
not just a snowbird type?
Oh no, I live in Southern California.
All right.
This is Revelstoke, British Columbia, Canada. Woke up this morning and went out. My bike is leaking gas from the gas tank, so now I got a problem. But this is the railroad tracks, and I noticed a whole group of people standing up here ready to film something. There they are. These are all Japanese tourists. Apparently there's an old train coming through, so now I'm going to film it too. Banff Park in Alberta, Canada. It's a view of the backside of the Banff Springs Hotel, which is the most exclusive hotel in Banff Park. It's just beautiful. This is looking out around a veranda here. This is looking up at the mountains behind the hotel. It's just spectacular, so pretty. You can see the river down there. It's very overcast and cold. More of the hotel. The waterfall. And the river. border. I'm in the United States. Yay! Just crossed over back home. Eglin, North Dakota. Little house on the prairie. It's my beautiful Honda Shadow American Classic motorcycle. It starts up every time I come here, despite the harsh winters. Still got the Hong Kong license plates on the back. Little house on the prairie in Eglin, North Dakota. Used to be a section house that was built for the section foreman on the Sioux Line Railroad. And this house was all along those tracks you see up there. You hardly see them. Down the road that way. And when the little city of Eglin developed, there's my bike. They moved the house into the city. There it is. It's a lot bigger now than when it was an original section house. And then across the street is the green area there. They used to have a horrible looking house parked on it that was mysteriously burned down by Mayor Harold Ness. There's an old abandoned house right there that kind of looks like the one across the street did. This is the side of the house. There used to be a garage about where that car's parked, I believe, that Sharon pulled off when she redid the house to make it look like it did when she lived here. That driveway was paved. Now she took the pavement out and put gravel in, which is the way it was when she was here. Restored all the original windows that you see there.
Here's the front porch. That's a chair from Tokyo. And our fan from Hong Kong. That's an old rocker I found up in the old garage out back here. That was probably my grandmother's. And it was a mess, and I had the guy in Devil's Lake refinish it. That little stove thing in the corner really works well out here in the winter when it's really cold. But we sit out here. I love it here in the summer. This little girl sits out in the yard, but it's too cold and weather's too bad right now. Anyway, this looks out to the side yard. And here's a little chair I bought at the school auction when they were selling everything from the school. And here we enter. These old doors came from a farm out by Eglin. Here's my living room. 2 chairs and a sofa I bought new for this house. There's Uncle Harold. Here's a little secretary I bought somewhere. Antique store, I think. Or a garage sale, I don't know. Here's the floor that they refinished for me. See all the nail marks? Because there was another floor on top of it. Here's a little wicker chair I had in. Someone, Renee, make a cover for it. That little table, I love the table. Bought it in Costa Mesa for $50 at a garage sale, and had the guy in Devil's Lake finish it for me. These are the drapes that I did. I love them, with my prisms in the window. This is from Hong Kong. There's a little birdhouse made like the elevator in Eglin that Uncle Bobby made for me. Catherine Maynor painted the picture, which I always thought looked like my kids. There you can see the dining room. But over here to the left is the room, Mom and Dad's old bedroom. And this is where my mom and dad always slept when they came. This furniture is from Tokyo. On the dresser here is a picture of Grandma Reet and Grandpa Marvin. This was their house, and that is their wedding picture. This is a nice little room. That door goes down to the cellar, and I tend to keep it closed. Well, my fan is still on in here, and I'm not going to go in the bathroom because I'm busy cleaning in there right now. This over here, by the way, this little cabinet is, that's where the old pot sat. That's where in the winter we would go to the bathroom in here, in a indoor toilet that sat on the floor right there. In fact, you can still see the marks on the floor where the circle where the pot sat. And we'll go into, Bill asked me to do this and I didn't clean up first. Here's my little dining room out to the side yard, and here's the tea cart I used to have in Costa Mesa. This is the top of the piano that was at the Crocus School, and I found it out behind a house here, and they burned the house and the piano burned too, but I salvaged it, hung it on the wall. And then we go into the kitchen. And that is where we used to have a cupboard when I was a kid. Now I have my refrigerator and a little hutch. My refrigerator when we lived here, I think, was right there on this wall. I've got a little chopping block. And it's kind of a mess. We used that George Foreman grill last night to cook at Harold's. Beverly and Harold cooked. And here's that part of the kitchen. Here's my back shed. If I'd known I was going to do this, I would have picked up. Bill's getting ready to leave. Here's my washer and dryer. The sun is out today. We had heavy frost last night. It was really cold. Used to always put this rocking chair out on the back porch for my dad. This is where I hang all my coats, purses, cameras. And the door is open. It's a little cold, so I'll close that. And then you go upstairs. I'm not going to tape in my bedroom though, because I haven't even made the bed yet. This was my room when I was a little older. It's a tiny room. And I was always kind of scared on nights when it thundered and lightning because this window was right by my bed. There's an old chair that I found in the garage. It was Christina Vesterso's and she gave it to my mom. Anyway, I had it finished in Devil's Lake. Here's a little dressing table. I always had a dressing table sitting there. Up above that's a hole going into the next bedroom for heat. And when I was a kid, I used to pretend that that's where we showed movies. We had no movie, but I think we maybe used a flashlight or something. I think this used to be in Amy's room when she was young, but she no longer wanted it. So it fits perfect here in North Dakota. This is my bedroom. I'll film at least part of it. That dresser belonged to Mrs. Gerhard. I found it in her house and asked permission to take it and painted it. A couple windows here facing us south. And this floor was always painted, and I painted it when I got the house back. Well, I guess I'll video my unmade bed. This is it. It was new for this house. Got the TV here and all. Here's the register on the floor where we used to put our ear down and listen to Mom and Dad talking to their friends, playing cards when we were kids. I don't know what we thought we were going to hear, but we would sneak up and put our ear down there. And watch TV at night here. And there's where I do my hair in the morning when I'm staying here. And that's my little house on the prairie. These windows are the windows where Pammy Lockhart and I sat and watched as my parents had the sale and sold all of our belongings when we moved to California. We sat up here and looked down in the yard. It was full of people and all of our stuff was out there. My mom's old sewing machine and everything.
So I'm going to go through Yellowstone Park instead of going to Butte and then down Highway 15. I'm taking the scenic route through Yellowstone Park and then down through Jackson Hole. The entrance to Yellowstone National Park. That reads up there, for the benefit and enjoyment of the people. This is Devil's Thumb, this is called, at Mammoth Hot Springs. This looks like salt deposits right in there. This is called Nymph Lake. That's a sight for you. Right in the middle of the road. Unfazed. This is Steamboat Geyser, and they say when it erupts, which it doesn't often do, maybe for anywhere from 4 days to 50 years apart. Very rare, but when it erupts it can send a column of scalding hot water 300 to 400 feet up into the air, 4 or 5 times the average height of Old Faithful. You can see the steam vents really good. That water is about 280 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the Gibbons Falls, which is basically the Gibbons River falling over an old volcanic formation. This is the Excelsior Geyser. Hasn't erupted in a very long time, but it pumps out over 4,000 gallons of boiling water a minute over the crater into the Firehole River below. Turquoise or opal pool.
Water.
Hampton, Wyoming, and that's the world's largest Elkhorn arch. Something you don't see very often. It's Monday, October, I don't know, 20th, I think. Yeah, 20th. Sunrise Point at Bryce Canyon National Park. Sunset Point. All this was caused by water, ice, and snow. Carved these beautiful formations. There's an inspiration point in Bryce Canyon. Entering Zion National Park, which is only about an hour and a half from Bryce Canyon National Park, still in Utah, and it's still Monday. Love the way they pave these roads in Zion so that they blend right in with the surroundings. Sort of a red color to it, like these Red Rock Mountains. Zion Lodge, really, really nice. This is my cabin at the Zion Lodge in Zion National Park, Utah. That mountain there, it's called the Great White Throne. And then over to the right, as I'm counting to the right, is Angel's Landing, which you can actually climb up to the top of. Now straight up this rock column, there's 4 climbers going up that column to that peak right there. Angel's Landing Trail. Headed up to the top of that rock. At least I think that's Angel's Landing. It's about 2.5 miles each way. I think about 1,500 vertical feet of gain. Straight away, I think there's switchbacks that go up to that plateau there. And I assume up that way. Holding on to this chain because the drop down that way is pretty darn far. Kind of an interesting spot. Right up this road, there's a 1-mile tunnel that goes right through the center of that mountain right there. 1 mile. That's how high the mountain is. And they've cut holes along the pathway of the tunnel to provide light, I suppose, and air. And that's one of them right there. And the tunnel goes on through there. There's another hole in the mountain. Goes on for 1 mile right through the middle of that mountain. Pretty amazing. Canyon National Park, Arizona, north entrance. This is the Grand Canyon from the North Rim. You can see the South Rim across the way. Colorado River, taking us from Navajo Bridge. Entrance. You can see the Colorado River down there. South side. fantastic photo opportunity. Look at the sign on the road there. Route 66. This is the historic Route 66 that I'm traveling on towards 29 Palms in California. Now that way you can see the highway that replaced it. Barely see it, which is Highway 40. Joshua Tree National Park in California. Last park I'll visit on this trip. Straight ahead you see Skull Rock. This is why they call it Joshua Tree.